Yeah, hi there. These comments are for FS, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. You're also one of my students at California State University, San Bernardino, in the English language program, and you have just completed independent writing practice test number 28. Now here's what I want to do. I'm going to read it over and comment on it in terms of your organization first, and then I will comment a little bit on your sentence structure and word choice, and then I'll give you a score and probably recommend some lessons you can focus on to get better. Alright, so first of all, you have a good thesis. I like that. I like how you use the word convenience and employment opportunities here. Then you mention that, I think, in these topic sentences. So there seems to be a pretty clear pattern of organization. And you restate these key points in the thesis. So that's good. So there's a pretty good connection of ideas. Now, one suggestion is here. I wouldn't go down this area. You're talking about improving your health. I would stay focused in this paragraph on just convenience. Right? So this, I don't think you really need to worry about. So if you want to talk about convenience, here's what I would say. You would say, we no longer need to travel to other cities to see movies. You say, for example, I might say, I live in Oak Hills right now. The nearest movie theater is in Hesperia, about 10 miles away. If a movie theater is built near my neighborhood, I will no longer have to drive 10 miles to see a movie. So it would be much more convenient for me to have a movie theater in Oak Hills, California. That's what I would say instead of saying all this information here. You see what we're saying there? So you have to be careful. Keep everything focused around your ideas. Okay, now we want to take a look at one of your paragraphs from an editing standpoint. Let's go to your third paragraph. So I think you're having problems with sentence formation. Right? That's partly a problem, and you're having some problems with this on the other hand. You use this quite a few times, but I'm not sure that you're using it correctly. So, second of all, you'll say building. You need a gerund. Building a movie theater in our neighborhood. You might say will increase the employment opportunities in my neighborhood. You have it on the other hand, but what you're saying is not the opposite. You're adding to what you're saying. So I would say here, hold on. So in addition, it will encourage other businessmen to build a business around the theater, such as restaurants and coffee shops. Not in addition, maybe, for instance. For example, I would say other businessmen to build, maybe, businesses around the theater, such as restaurants and coffee shops. Yeah, but what you're saying here doesn't really connect to what you're saying here. You have to stay along this same line. You see, of course, something like this. There. You see what we're saying? So to say, you can see that most theaters have restaurants around and popcorn stores in it. I didn't think you need to say that. Then you have case in point. I think you need something like therefore here. As a result, you need cause effect here. So for example, we'll encourage other businessmen to build businesses around the theater, such as restaurants and coffee shops. Of course, more workers will be hired to work at these newly created businesses, and perhaps some of those workers could come from residents in my community. Therefore, the increase in employing our city's residents will reduce homeless numbers. Yeah, here's a problem with your argument though. Why is a new business, a restaurant or a coffee shop, why would they hire a homeless person? There's probably qualified people that could take those jobs. You're assuming that the restaurants and the coffee shops will go for the lowest educated person in the city, which these homeless people may not. They're homeless for a reason. They're probably not very sociable. They don't get along well with other people. They might be doing drugs or drinking. So I don't know if that works. So the increase in employing our city's residents will reduce, I would say, unemployment. Will reduce unemployment. Our local economy here. Okay, so let's look at this paragraph again. So second of all, building a movie theater in our neighborhood will increase the employment opportunities. We said neighborhood already, right? So for example, it will encourage other businessmen to build businesses around the theater, such as restaurants and coffee shops. Of course, more workers will be hired to work at these newly created businesses. Notice how it said these newly created businesses. I use that as a way to tie the sentence back to the previous sentence. Sometimes when you're writing, your sentences don't always connect. So of course, more workers will be hired to work at these newly created businesses, and perhaps some of those workers could come from residents in my community. Therefore, the increase in employing our city's residents will reduce unemployment and strengthen our local economy. So let me give you another one too here. Let me look at one of your other paragraphs here for just a second. Yeah, let me look at one more paragraph. So part of your difficulty, I got to read a little bit more to see what's going on, is sometimes the things that you write, they don't always all connect together. So you need to make sure each of your paragraphs are very unified in their meaning, right? So you say, first of all, whether a new movie theater is built in our neighborhood will provide us. You're using a noun clause as a subject, right? I'm going to probably, I like the grammar you're using, but it doesn't quite fit. I'm going to say, if a new movie theater is built in our neighborhood, I'm going to say it will be more convenient to see the new movies. Maybe combine these since we will no longer need to travel, I want to see here, to other cities. What does it mean? If it means movies, right, then you have to say them. You might want to say, for example, I live in Oak Hills and the nearest movie theater is 10 miles away. It will be much more I think we have it here. In addition, you want to say here, this is a good word. It adds to it. So in addition, walking to the theater instead of riding a car, increases the opportunity to improve our health because walking has a lot of benefits. On the other hand, we'll never be concerned about finding a parking lot. You can't really say on the other hand here because you're adding to something that you've said. You're talking about all of these benefits, right? So not being concerned about finding a parking lot, that's also a benefit. Being able to walk to the movies to improve your health is a benefit. Not having to drive 10 miles away to see a movie and saving time that way is a benefit, right? So furthermore, we will never be concerned about finding since the theater is so close to our homes. Let's see how many how many words we have in this paragraph. You want to make sure you develop things. Yeah, it's plenty. 127. Now that I've done some video correction of a couple of your paragraphs and given you some general tips on how to improve your writing, it is time to give you a score now. So let's take a look at it. So you're not going to score 5.5 out of 5, 30 points out of 30. You're not going to score in the 4 range. It's going to be tough. You can't really even score in the 3 range. So if you look into here, according to the rubrics, you have a large number of errors in sentence structure and or usage, as I pointed out. You have numerous problems with inappropriate word choice or word forms. So you have to really work on, it looks like, your sentence structure and your word choice. This seems to be an emergency for you. I know that you want to study graduate study next quarter. You have a lot of language problems that you need to solve. So one of the things that you want to do is start posting more writing practice tests at my site. So I get the feeling that writing is just not something that you do a lot of. So I think if you practice it more, it'll become a little more natural to you. So between now and the final exam, I encourage you to complete maybe 4 or 5 independent writing practice tests. You can send them to me, and I will send them over to my teaching assistant, who will score them for you as quickly as possible. And practice makes perfect. It really does. So my recommendation here is you need to work on your vocabulary, which is going to be important. So vocabulary lesson number 3, that's going to be important. Now my grammar lessons are a little bit different from what you see here. So what I'm going to recommend is you can go into the grammar part of my course, and I would do all of the lessons. Do all lessons in the grammar section. This is a priority for you, and I would even keep a grammar journal where you can start writing down some of the new structures that you're studying and putting those things into the journal. That's going to be very important for you. Alright, so step by step you can get better, but even my suggestions so far are not enough. You want to make sure you're watching TV in English on a regular basis every day if possible. Especially make sure you're reading newspapers, you're reading magazines, you're reading books. English is just not that familiar to you for whatever reason, so the more you read, the more familiar you will become, I think, with the sentence structure and the word choice of the English language. So it's doing a whole host of things that over time will have an effect in helping you to write more proficiently. Alright, anyway, thank you very much for completing this. So your score here, I'm going to put you at about 2.25 out of 5. I liked how you developed your ideas, so I'll give you some points for that. 15 points out of 30. If you go to the syllabus and you see 2.25, if you go to page 7, you see that? So 2.25 is going to put you at 67% out of 100. So if I'm being honest with you right now, you're not writing at the graduate level. You have too many problems with your sentence structure and your word choice. So until you solve these problems, it's going to be difficult for you to write at the level that's expected in graduate programs at California State University, San Bernardino. So I'm confident. If you follow my suggestions in this video, for example, if you are reading every day, if you're watching TV every day, if you're talking to native speakers every day, if you're going through all of my grammar lessons, and you complete 4 to 6 independent writing practice tests between now and the final exam, if you follow these things, you will be able to improve your writing. You can make progress. I just helped somebody in my course. His writing skill was 21 points out of 30, and I did 2 different error correction videos, I think, of his essays. He took all my suggestions, he did some study, and he took the TOEFL exam, and he increased his score to 27 points out of 30. So it helps. So you might want to watch this video maybe 2 or 3 times over the next month, just to keep track of exactly what it is you need to do in order to improve. Alright? Thank you very much. And by the way, I've enjoyed having you as a student in my TOEFL Level 6 class. And thanks for bringing the cookies and the and the snacks that you're bringing to class every day. You guys are creating a very friendly, hospitable atmosphere, I think, for all the students, and that's great. All right, bye-bye.